That's not to say I didn't learn a lesson from all of it. I do say that, it kind of made me the man I am today, which is, it's kind of just a struggle saying, because like, I don't want anyone to ever have to go through those things. However, now where I am now at this age, I am grateful for a lot of that. It really, really taught me a lot. It really made me a tough guy. It really made me understand the highs and lows of life, and how low you can actually go, believing negative things about yourself, or kind of playing and feeding into society roles of, dope boy, party animal, playboy, whatever you want to call it. And that's what that was my identity.
Mm.
So after prison, even I got back into it again, just because I'm not the type of person you can scare or hurt or hit, make me change. It kind of has to come from within.
Mm-hmm.
When I got out, I kind of got back into it for a while. And my father asked me one day, if I wanted to leave the country for a while. And that was like the first turning point, when everything I knew behind, everything as far as my identity, my friends, my circles, people I was selling with, people I was partying with, my girlfriends, and just went to India and lived a clean life. And that was 7 years ago. And it's, still been quite a journey, lots of ups and downs and slips in that time recently. But, the progress I've made since then, I've came to a place I never even thought, was possible in my life, especially as a convicted felon. Things are really tough as far as work and job. And then, in the society we grow up in, kind of being pushed to go to college, get a job, get married, hit all the check boxes, which is just not what I wanted to do. I eventually found my way through all that, and it's been a blessing.
The show is called Mind Shift, and you mentioned something very important there. That particular moment in time is when I kind of want to get to, where maybe you had that mind shift. And you talked about you had some severe surgeries, almost, I think it was an attempted murder, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was picked up and thrown into the concrete sidewalk. My entire jaw was like, just a jumble of bones. I had to take bone out of my head to put it in my mouth to get my teeth back to me, actually.
Yeah, and that happened to you, and you were shot at, and you still seem to kind of had this hard-headedness, even still after that, and even in prison. So what was it that you finally got that mind shift of like, okay, something should change here?
So the first time when I told you, I shared with my dad, asked me to the country, it was more of like it was more of a higher power type of thing, an outside energy that kind of, came into me and said, hey, Rocky, just go try something new. From there, like I said, I had a lot of ups and downs, and the second kind of actual mind shift came just 4 years ago. I think 2017, I believe, early. I was going through a tough breakup, and I kind of started to develop a lifestyle of yoga, meditation, eating good, putting good things in my mind and my body, as far as music, as far as TV shows, as far as podcasts and audio tapes, listening to good positive things. I just kept feeding myself that, and I do a lot of that to this day still. But that's when my big mind shift. That's when I understood what the power of a mind shift was. I listened to a lot of people like Wayne Dyer and a lot of other people out there on YouTube that put their content and information out there for free to help people. That's kind of when the actual real mind shift came of like, I was still struggling in business. I wasn't doing that well. I was living on my own. I was doing better than I was before that, but I knew there was more. And I think as entrepreneurs, we get confused about, there's a business side, there's a personal side. I'm a firm believer that working on yourself and making yourself better will reflect in all areas of your life, including your business. And I actually saw that to be true for myself.